Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today it is episode 2 of It's Not All Doom and Gloom, the podcast with the Midnight Raven. If you're new, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this podcast. So if you haven't seen the podcast episode number 1, I'll link it. And if you want to see episode 2, then you've come to the right place. Today we're going to go through 10 more questions on getting to know the Midnight Raven. This is just a little interlude to real content further down the line, just to get to know you to know me. As always, if you have any questions in the comments about anything, let me know. And let's get into this video by answering question number 11. So, what family members are you close to? So, through the years, I've been close to family members, not close to family members. There's always been like a black sheep divide, if you want to call it. I had a rough childhood, as I've reiterated in the previous episode, and I was not close to any of my parents, neither my dad nor my mum. I really didn't feel I fitted in at all. And that's not, if you want to call it, being a goth and feeling like an outsider. It was more, I just was more content on being alone. Now, I'm not a loner or a person that just, I'm not an introvert necessarily, but I do like my space. And as a child living in a small house, in a small little village, everybody knew your business, and you didn't really get close to people because then too many people knew stuff about you. So being close to family members, I would have said I'd have probably said my youngest sister, Fiona, would have been who I was probably closest to in the family. Today, probably about the same. I'm not close to my parents at all. I don't even talk to them. But my sisters, we have interactions. We hang out, we talk, we go clubbing on occasion. Immediate family, like my sons, obviously I talk to them and I'm pretty close to my sons. Family exterior to that, like uncles, cousins, I don't really have any communication with them anymore. We've all kind of moved on in our lives, gone our separate ways. And as you do, when people grow up, they do kind of separate. You get your own families, your own lives, your own social, and you kind of drift apart in all fairness. But I hope to keep like the relationship with my sons for like as long as I can. Obviously, my eldest is now having his own child, so he'll have his own responsibilities. And eventually you just kind of lose touch with people in your family. That's effectively a part of life. You grow up, you move on. Okay, question 12. What skill would you most like to learn? Ooh, a skill. I don't know. I don't really have that many aspirations when it comes to hobbies. There are some people out there that want to learn everything. Every weekend is a new hobby, a new skill. You know, one week they're paragliding, they're abseiling, you know, they're learning to knit, crochet. I would prefer to learn a skill maybe that gave me more confidence, an ability to have more of a presence when I enter a room, maybe confidence, courage, something that you necessarily can't put in a bottle and learn. I'd learn to be a skill, to be less hard on myself. Is that a skill? To not, to have courage, to be determined more, to be more motivated. They're the kind of skills I want, and they're not things that you can just go out and buy in a shop or pay to get. They're skills that are more like life skills, having courage, being determined, being motivated, not being so picky on everything I do, like giving myself a break, basically. So the skills I would like to learn would be a bit more like life skills rather than learning to knit or sew or to do something like that. So question 13, where is the coolest place you have traveled? Well, I haven't traveled. I would say I haven't traveled a lot. I've been on school trips. I've stayed in Wales. I did that for a week. I did a school trip to Galveston. I did a school trip to Yorkshire. I've actually been to Yorkshire 3 times. I've been to Edinburgh. I've been to Ayr. I've been to Whitby. I've been to a few places up and down the UK. I've been to Birmingham. That was quite fun. I spent a weekend in Birmingham. But the coolest place you've traveled to would probably be Whitby. Obviously, I got to go up the astoundingly tall stairs to get to Whitby Abbey. If you have not walked up all, I think it's 300 and something stairs to Whitby Abbey, boy, does it hurt your legs. And you know what the funny thing is? You then have to walk all 300 back down. I think it's around 300. It's a mammoth task, and your thighs, the burn. They burn even worse coming down. The Abbey itself, I've never seen the Abbey at night, but I've heard it is amazing. I went up during the day. I took some photos from the outside. It didn't pay to go in because it is quite pricey to go into the Abbey. But at night, apparently, it's lit up beyond belief. And Whitby itself is a beautiful fishing port. They have amazing fish and chips. The people there are just so friendly and so nice. And obviously you've got the 2 goth festivals, one that usually happens in May, and then you have the one in October. I think it's May and October. But it's a hoot. If you ever go to it, send me some pictures, because it's a hoot a minute to go to the Whitby Goth Festival. It just is. All the people are dressed up, goth bands. It's a really good thing to visit. I personally have never got the chance to. I've always been working and never been able to go, but one of these days I'm going to go up there all dressed up, stay the whole weekend. It's going to be a hoot. Question 14, what does your average weekend look like? So average weekend depends. Currently, this coming weekend, I'm working both Saturday and Sunday. As I am filming this, I'm currently working. A normal weekend, if I wasn't working, a Saturday would be going to the market in town and doing my traditional charity shop run, where I go to all 6 or 7 of the charity shops, depending on what's open on the Saturday. I usually go down to the duck pond and see the ducks, especially at the minute because it's baby duck season, so I can get some good pictures. Then Saturday afternoon, I'll usually film some YouTube stuff, depending on what I got from town, whether I did a market haul or something. Saturday evening is usually either a live stream or I'll do some research for more content. Sunday is usually a chilled day. Either if I'm not working, I will go do my food shop, because it is the quietest day of the week to do a food shop, mind you. Saturday afternoon / evening, I do some more YouTube stuff, some vintage stuff. Sunday evening is bath night for work. Always have a bath on a Sunday. It's been a tradition since I was a little girl. Sunday was always bath day because of having school on Monday, and Sunday is always bath day because I usually work Mondays. And then I just watch some true crime in the evening. My Sundays are usually very chilled. If I wanted to have a more exciting Sunday, I would go to Lynn or Norwich. I'd do some shopping, do some browsing. You know, a weekend is what you make it, depending on if you want a quiet one or you want a busy one. Usually, if I've been at work all week, I'll go for the quiet weekend. If I've had quite a lot of time off during the week, I'll have a busier weekend. It all depends on my mentality and how exhausted I am. So question 15, tell me about your longest running relationship with someone. Okay, so not going to depress people, but Adam was my long-term friend. He was the longest friend I think I've ever had. I knew Adam, who recently passed away in February. I knew Adam for about 27 years. I knew him since I was in high school, and we were friends all through high school. I was friends with him all through his early 20s. and he recently passed in February at the grand old age of 39 years old. And he had been my longest friend I ever had. I've known him right from my first year of high school. Up until recently, we would talk every other day, and had done for 20 plus odd years. He was one of my best friends, and he will sorely be missed. And yeah, he'd be my longest running relationship with someone. He was someone who was always there, a listening ear, and unfortunately taking at such a young age, he will sorely be missed. True friends have to come by, and long-term friends are come by nowadays. People are featherweight friends where they're there for a couple of years and then something happens and they're gone. Adam stuck through and through for the good, bad, and the ugly times. He was always there, and we were there for we were there for each other. We both had rough upbringings, rough lives, and we were always there to comfort each other for advice and moral support. And that is hard to find in a friend. So if you can raise a like and a comment in the chat for Adam, he was a good friend. So moving on to something hopefully a little bit less depressing for you guys. What is your earliest memory? Question 16. My earliest memory. I think my earliest memory would probably be going to playgroup. We're talking probably maybe the age of 3.5, and meeting the kids in my neighborhood at playgroup, and meeting some of the people I would spend quite a good portion of my life with, going through nursery, preschool, and then being friends with them through primary school. Quite a few of them I went right the way through up until high school with, starting in nursery with them and preschool, and then going to the first school with them at Morley St. Bottoff. Oh, the good old days. And then some of them that were at Morley with me, I end up going to high school. And they followed me through, some of them right through to the end of high school. But the earliest memorably would probably be in the playgroup, where there was this coloured tunnel and you'd go from one side through the other, kind of like dogs do at Crufts. It was just a coloured tunnel. And unfortunately, and this is going to be a bit disappointing for you, I wasn't exactly a good child. Me and this other boy used to like to tease this other child. I know you're going to say I'm a bully, but he got into the middle of the tunnel, and me and my friend at the time meanly closed the ends of the tunnel so he couldn't get out either side. We kind of closed it. And he cried and screamed, and we got into quite a lot of trouble. We were only like 3.5, but we were told that wasn't very nice and that we need to share and be nice. And me and my friend always laughed about it, because the kid ended up being a right bully and deserved some payback. But that was karma coming to him at an early stage before he turned into the so-called brat that he ended up being at primary school, where he used to bully people. And I was always told it was kind of my fault for bullying him as a child, and it was a reflection of me bullying him. Who knows? Maybe he was just designed to be a nasty child. But that would probably be my earliest memory. What makes you unique? Question 17. What makes me unique? I don't know. Maybe my sense of style makes me unique. I am probably the only person on the face of the planet that has defied wearing color on the basis of it not being necessity to be attention drawn to myself. I don't have to wear bright colors to get attention. I don't feel the need to wear bright colors to get attention. I don't feel the need to dress a certain way. If someone came up to me and said, God, why are you dressing in black constantly? I'd be like, God, why are you feel the need to moan constantly? Why do you feel the need to critique me constantly? I've never bowed to anybody's opinions, whether it comes to dress, style, music take. I think what makes me unique is the fact that I do not give a flying F about what anybody thinks. I really don't. I have this attitude of water off a duck's back. I just do not care. And as bad as that sounds, it'll probably bite me in the butt at some point, not caring to the extent that I do. But if something is really that terrible and that bad, then it's kind of your problem, not mine at the end of the day. So what makes me unique? My carefree attitude, my nonchalant attitude to, who cares? Question 18. Who is your hero? Who is my hero? Heroes are hard to come by. I mean, nowadays people are going to turn around and say, oh, Logan Paul's my hero. Oh, KSI's my hero. I think at some point heroes have died off and it's just become celebrities that we look up to. There are not really many heroes nowadays that I would call a hero. If you want to call somebody who's maybe an activist, as a hero, someone who would fight injustice, are they a hero? Someone who sticks up for the common man, they're a hero. So I don't think you can stereotype a hero for me to say who's mine. I think we all aspire to certain people because of how people are, whether it's their love for their fellow man, their courage to have a difference of opinion, to be more confrontational with people, or whether it's to prove a point. I don't know. Heroes are a hard thing to come by. And to say I have a hero, I would say I don't. I would say I have people maybe that I look up towards, but I wouldn't call them heroes. I would just say they're people that have done good things, but they don't necessarily need to be put on a pedestal or to be called a hero. I think heroism is kind of dead. I think nowadays people do stuff for their own self. And if it helps somebody at the end of the day, all well and good. But everyone is always out for themselves nowadays. I don't think you have heroes anymore. Question 19. Who is the smartest person you ever met? The smartest person I've ever met? Well, that would be Stephen Fry. Amazingly enough, I met Stephen Fry at, get ready for this, my son's fair at school. Stephen Fry came to open the fair at Swaffham, and he is probably the smartest person I've ever met. He has an ungodly amount of knowledge about a huge variety of topics. Watching him on TV and hearing him talk, he has so much knowledge up in that tiny little head. Obviously, he's an actor, director, a philanthropist of the modern arts. And he's a British staple of comedy. I'd probably say it's Stephen Fry. Probably the smartest person I've ever met. And all I said was a couple of words to him, and that was enough. And the last question for today is, what is one thing that instantly makes your day better? Well, of course, I'm going to say doing YouTube and seeing your beautiful faces and talking to you and sharing my day with you. But honestly, the one thing that instantly makes my day better is when I go to see my cat at midnight and we have a little snuggle, or talking to my son on the phone and asking how his day was. It's the little things that make my day better. Having a donation from you guys on YouTube puts a smile on my face. Having my son phone me up to ask me for the 100th time when I'm going to buy something for him, or having my eldest phone me up to tell me he's had a terrible day at work. It's just having having little things that make your day better, you know, little tiny things like a snuggle with my cat or a phone call from my son can turn my day around. It doesn't necessarily make my day better, but usually the day I'm having, it couldn't be any worse from them phoning me or calling me or whatever. So a win-win per se. So that was another 20 questions of getting to know Raven. I hope you're enjoying this series. It is a starter in my It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. This is episode 2. We are going to do more questions coming up in the next episode because I feel the more you know about me, the more we can connect as an audience / podcaster. If you do have any questions that you would like me to answer that you have, you can always put it in the chat and I can put it into the next video. If you want to like and subscribe and a big thumbs up, that is free. If you'd like to help the podcast, PayPal, a super chat or a super thanks, or become a member and get other behind the scenes stuff that you get every week. This podcast goes out every Sunday, so if you want something to listen to over your Sunday lunch or just sit in the bath and listen to my voice, by all means. This is It's Not All Doom and Gloom with Raven, and I will see you next week for another episode. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.